In the headlines, Independent National Electoral Commission counters Binani, says electoral officers did not hold meeting with Adamawa State government. Court fixes May 12 to rule on application filed by Abure, others to vacate order. Delta rainstorm kills 6 persons, injure others in Delta State. On the foreign scene, United Nations chief African leaders to hold virtual talks on Sudan crisis. Hello and welcome to the news update on Trust TV. I am Ayuba Ilya. Thanks for joining. And now the details. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has tackled the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress in Adamawa State, Aishatu Binani, over claims that electoral officials colluded with the incumbent governor and candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Ahmadu Fintiri. In a statement on Thursday, INEC National Commissioner Festus Okoye said that the insinuations by Binani are fabrications and mischievous. Binani, who has since approached the court to challenge the victory of Fintiri, had in a statement on Tuesday claimed that some INEC national officers from Abuja held a night meeting in Adamawa State Government House. Okoye further stated that Adamawa was not in any way targeted in the deployment of national commissioners and other officials. The President-elect, Bola Tinubu, has announced a 13-man presidential inauguration committee to plan a week-long presidential inauguration event. Tinubu, in a letter to the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustapha, announced a former senator representing Borno North and current National Deputy Chairman of the All Progressives Congress, Abubakar Kyari, as the coordinator and Director of Finance and Budget of the committee. The Executive Director, Business Development at the Nigeria Export-Import Bank, Stella Okotete, will serve as the head of Secretariat, Planning and Monitoring. Other members of the committee include Makinde Arawe, Bayo Onanuga, Dr. Betta Edu, Colonel Abdulaziz Yaradua, Zainab Buba Marwa, and Samira Sadiq. Also appointed are Abu Andrew Abu, Aladi Bako, Hadiza Mohammed Kabir, Donald Wokoma, Bishop Adegbite, and Imam Faoud. Tinubu is expected to be inaugurated as president on May 29, 2023. Justice Hamza Muazu of an FCT High Court sitting at Maitama on Thursday adjourned until May 12 to rule in the preliminary objection filed by the embattled chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, and one other. The other respondents are the National Secretary, Farouk Ibrahim, Clement Ojuku, and Oluchi Okpara. They are challenging the jurisdiction of the court to entertain a matter filed by Martins Esipali John and 9 others seeking the removal of the 4 respondents through an ex parte motion brought before the court. Justice Mazu adjourned until May 12 after listening to the submissions of the counsel in the matter. The Nasarawa State Police Command has arrested 27 suspects over alleged kidnapping, armed robbery, and cattle rustling in different parts of the state. Public Relations Officer of the command, Ramhan Nansel, made this known while parading the suspects in Lafia. Awakar Abdullahi sent in the report as presented from our studio.
Parading the suspects before journalists, the command's Public Relations Officer, Ramhan Nansel, said some of the kidnapping suspects are known faces in some communities, adding that several complaints have been lodged against them until their eventual arrest. He explained that the activities of one of the kidnapping syndicates came to the knowledge of the command when it became apparent that people hired them to kidnap their relations for ransom.
On the 10th of April 2023, at about 0800 hours, the police command, in its bid to stem the tide of kidnapping at Nasarawa, Igon, and environs, carried out a joint operation in collaboration with the military personnel and vigilante group at Alogani and Igon Hills, where 4 kidnapped victims were rescued unhurt, and 6 suspected kidnappers were arrested.
He further said the notorious kidnapper, Shoaibu Muhammad, also known as Chidawa, that has been on the wanted list of the command, also fell in the command's net.
Based on actionable intelligence, one Dahi Rusani, a male of Duma, local government area of the state, was arrested for hiring the same syndicate that was hired to perpetrate the kidnapping at Popsy Filling Station in Madar Station, to kidnap his brother-in-law.
The PPRO said other suspects arrested by the command in addition to the kidnappers were 5 armed robbers and 2 cattle rustlers, while arms and ammunition were recovered from them. Some of the suspects admitted to have committed the offense they were accused of. Meanwhile, the command said it has deployed adequate personnel across the nooks and crannies of the state to ensure a hitch-free Eid-Fitr celebrations.
Now, Zakat al-Fitr is a form of annual charity given to the needy as one of the activities that climax the fasting during the holy month of Ramadan. At a time of Eid al-Fitr celebrations, attention of many Muslims is attracted towards the execution of the religious directive of giving out Zakatul Fitr. Abubakar Abdullahi in this report looks at how important this religious obligation is to the Muslim Ummah. His report is presented from our studio.
As the name implies, Zakatul Fitr is a zakat of charitable giving during the breaking of Ramadan fast. This is important not only for adults, but for every Muslim who, as they are expected to give out zakat, especially to those who are in need at the time of giving out the zakat. Umar Adika, the chief imam of Amala Masjid 500 Housing Estate, Lafia, Nasarawa State, takes us through the importance of giving out zakat al-fitr by Muslims.
It is said that if this zakat is not paid on time, one's fasting or the reward for the fasting may not be raised to the divine presence, to maybe hanging in the air. So, in addition, another hadith says that this zakat is one of the means of guarding or protecting the fasting person from some errors during the time of fasting. As we know, the fasting of Islam has to do with abstinence from eating, from drinking, and from sexual relations, from dawn to dusk.
The Islamic cleric added that usually zakats are given to the needy who are not able to feed themselves or families, rather than those who do not need the charity. He maintained that what can be given as charity are the basic staple foods used in a particular area, and only those that can afford are qualified to give. Speaking on Zakat al-Fitr, Secretary General of Jama'atul Nasr al-Islam Nasarawa State, Muhammad Ali, encouraged Muslims to try as much as possible to give out Zakat al-Fitr and benefit from its reward.
Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam says, if you did not give Zakat al-Fitr, your fasting is lingering. It's lingering, just like pendulum. Therefore, by the time you give the Zakat al-Fitr, and the fasting will go straight to where it is expected.
With the fasting almost done, those who took part in Zakat al-Fitr are expected to reap bountifully from Almighty Allah.
With the 2023 Ramadan fast almost over, the 3 days are usually the most significant period for the Muslim Ummah as they perform the Taraweeh prayers. Bitrus Kuruzi took a look at what it means for Muslim faithful in Maiduguri.
Ramadan is the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, as it's an obligation for Muslims worldwide to fast, pray, and exhibit charity. The most significant moments are the performance of night prayers known as Taraweeh, and these prayers hold great spiritual impartation on Muslims. Some Muslim Ummah see the night prayers as a time for deep devotion.
It was advice from our Prophet, because I heard that one hadith said that when the 10 days come, Prophet ﷺ put more extra effort to pray on that 10 days in order to success in life.
Shawarar da zan ba sauran al'umma
I'm so happy that I attended the night of prayers. It was a great experience. Many Muslims came out in their numbers, and we know Allah will accept our prayers. I will advise my fellow Muslims to continue the life of fasting and live a holy life even after the Ramadan, because it will really keep us close to our Creator. The night prayers are also aimed at seeking God's forgiveness and purifying one's soul. Scholars believe that the night of prayers is an hour of submission to the Creator, Allah.
ayyukansu na alheri shi yasa al'umma suna wannan kwadaitan ladan Lailatul Qadr da kuma
The night of prayers is very significant because it's the hour that Allah revealed the Quran to Prophet Muhammad. That's why it's called Night of Power. And these prayers are equal to 1,000 months. And this happens in the last 10 days. That's why the Muslim Ummah dedicate their time for the prayers to receive blessings from Allah. Taraweeh is an opportunity to deepen one's spiritual connection with the divine before the end of Ramadan fast, as all Muslim faithful await the appearance of the Shawwal moon to celebrate Salah. Bitrus Kuruti, Trust TV News, Maiduguri.
You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Coming up shortly, we'll take a look at how incentivization will boost shoemaking industry. Details of this and more after the break.
TV, documenting the Nigerian story.
Welcome back from that break. You're watching the news update on Trust TV. Here is a look at the top stories again. Independent National Electoral Commission counters Binani, says electoral officers did not hold meeting with Adamawa State government. Court fixes May 12 to rule on application filed by Abure, others to vacate order. Delta State government on Thursday confirmed the death of 6 persons who lost their lives to rainstorm and windstorm in Oko community, Oshimili South local government area of the state. Addressing newsmen in the Delta, the Delta State Commissioner for Information, Charles Aniagu, who confirmed the sad development during a news conference in Asaba, the state capital, said 5 others who sustained various degrees of injuries were being treated at the hospital. Aniagu also said that a 10-year-old boy was swept away at Okotomi area of Okpanam community in Oshimili North local government area. The state government, according to him, was coordinating rescue efforts to recover the boy. On the falling of a petrol tanker on Udu Bridge, Aniagu appealed to residents to be patient, saying that efforts were on to evacuate the tanker for free flow of traffic. The United Nations Children's Fund, UNICEF, says at least 2.2 million Nigerian children did not receive a single dose of vaccine between 2019 and 2021. The UNICEF Chief of Health in Nigeria, Eduardo Selez, said that in Abuja on Thursday that Nigeria trailed behind India in the number of children not immunized during the period. He noted that the number of Nigerian children not immunized remained high in spite of efforts made by the country. He stressed that Nigeria is currently nowhere near the global vaccination goal because of the challenges encountered in immunization programs. To be fully immunized, children under 5 years of age are expected to receive BCG, a vaccine against tuberculosis, oral polio vaccine, DPT vaccine, which is a combination of vaccines against diphtheria, pertussis, and tetanus. They are also expected to receive hepatitis A and B vaccines, measles vaccine, yellow fever vaccine, and supplemental vitamin A. Local shoemakers in Kano State are calling on the government to provide them with capital incentives that will sustain their trade. Trust TV correspondent Idris Jibrin reports that local shoemaking in Kano is currently employing hundreds and thousands of people, but is being threatened by a number of challenges. The report.
Sheets of leather laying in plain sight, waiting to be processed into footwear of different sizes. Over the years inside Kofar Wambai market, hundreds of youth are involved in shoemaking business. They say the trade is often inherited from their parents to be passed down to their children. You see, I've been doing this trade for over 30 years, and I've learned it from my parents, and I am now teaching my children so that they can also learn how to stand on their feet. According to these people, periods like this usually attract more patronage. Unfortunately, the shoemaking business in Kano is being threatened by a number of challenges. We are into this trade, and we have a lot of challenges. Government is not helping us. We don't have capital, and even the raw materials that we used to buy, some of them we have to import them, and we are spending a lot of money in doing that. In most cases, you will produce many shoes, but there may be no gain out of it. So we need government to come in and assist us. Deep into the market, finished products can be found in various shops within the market as customers troop in for their Salah shopping. Business is brisk this year. Well, this year business is moving on smoothly, like always. You know, people have to wear shoes, especially during Salah. Many people used to come, like you can see the market. People are everywhere, and all of these people are buying shoes. So many people used to come here to buy shoes from different parts of not only Kano, northern Nigeria. With increasing opportunity in local shoemaking across Kano State, People like this are hoping that a common facilities center to be equipped with modern equipment may likely solve their problems. We have a common facility center in Kano which was initially established by Konkoso, and up to now this common facility center is working, but it is not working like the way we want it to be working. And we hope that the new incoming government will pay more attention to equipping this common facility center so that more shoes will be produced, more people will learn how to produce shoes in Kano State. Be that as it may, traders in Kopar Wambai are calling on government to pay more attention in improving the creativity of these young men and women shoemakers. Idris Jibrin, Trust TV News, Kano.
The federal government says consultations are ongoing as a response to requests by Nigerian students in Sudan for evacuation from the country. This was contained in a statement by Gabriel Odu for the Media, Public Relations and Protocols Unit of Nigerians in Diaspora Commission on Thursday. Odu said that NIDCOM was in consultation with the National Emergency Management Agency and also with the Nigerian Mission in Sudan and other relevant agencies. He said the chairman and CEO of NIDCOM, Abike Dabiri-Erewa, urged all Nigerian students in Sudan as well as Nigerians living in Sudan to be security conscious and calm. Sudan is currently witnessing hostility between the Sudanese army and the paramilitary group Rapid Support Forces. On the foreign scene, the United Nations Secretary General Antonio Guterres will hold a virtual meeting on Thursday with the AU chairperson, the Secretary General of the Arab League, the Executive Secretary of the East African Bloc, IGAD, and other leaders on the crisis in Sudan. UN spokesperson Stefan Dujarric told journalists at the UN headquarters on Wednesday that Guterres will hold the meeting together with other relevant organizations to discuss ways the international community could help end the violence and restore order inside Sudan. Dujarric said that the UN chief spoke earlier in the day to President William Ruto of Kenya and the chairperson of the African Union Commission, Moussa Faki. The UN Special Representative in Sudan, Volker Perthes, also continued engagement with parties on the ground, key Sudanese leaders and member states in trying to secure an immediate de-escalation in the fighting.
The Secretary General condemned the outbreak of fighting, saying the situation has already led to horrendous loss of life, including many civilians, and he warned that any further escalation could be devastating for the country and the region. He also condemned the deaths and injuries of civilians and humanitarian workers and the targeting and looting of humanitarian premises, which we've seen. He reminded all parties of the need to respect international law, including ensuring the safety and security of all United Nations personnel and associated personnel and humanitarian aid workers. The Secretary General urged all those with influence over the situation to use it in the cause of peace, to support the efforts to end the violence, restore order, and return to the path of transition. And as we told you, kept you updated over the weekend, he spoke to both Sudanese leaders, and he also spoke with the head of the African Union and the Arab League, as well as President Sisi of Egypt.
The Chief of Staff for Mali's interim president, Omar Traore, and 3 others have been killed in an ambush, the government said on Thursday. The ambush took place in the rural area of Nara in Mali's southwestern Kolikoro region, the statement said, without providing further details on when the attack occurred or who was responsible for it. A driver who was traveling with the delegation is still missing, it added. Mali is one of the several West African countries battling armed groups during the past decade. Rebels linked to Al-Qaeda and ISIL armed group have seized swaths of territory across the region, killed thousands and displaced millions. And in sports news, Rivers United forward Paul Akwa will undergo a late fitness test ahead of the Nigerian champions CAF Confederation Cup clash against young Africans of Tanzania on Sunday. The Ghanaian midfielder sustained an injury in Rivers United's final group game against ASEC Mimosa of Cote d'Ivoire in Yamoussoukro last month. Media officer of the club, Charles Mayuku, said that the player is back in training with his teammate but will need to be certified fit to be included in the matchday squad. Aqua is a top scorer in the CAF Confederation Cup with 5 goals. And that's it for the news update. You can watch more via all our social media platforms and also on our YouTube live stream. I am Ayuba Ila. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.